the Indy Sports Car Podcast.
Detroit NASCAR podcast?
I hate you.
Okay. This is Phil Willpower, and you're listening to Indy Sports Car Podcast.
Hey guys, I'm Victor Franzoni. I'm racing Indy Lights for Junko's Racing Car 23, and you guys are hearing the Indy Sports Car Podcast.
Perfect.
This is David Malukas, and you're listening to the Indy Sports Car Podcast.
This is Oliver Askew, and you're listening to the Indy Sports Car Podcast.
This is Rob Howden, the voice of the Mazda Road to Indy, and you're listening to the Indy Sports Car Podcast.
Hey, this is Kyle Kaiser, and you're listening to the Indy Sports Car Podcast.
Hey, this is Will Power, and you're listening to the Indy Sports Car Podcast.
Hey guys, this is Pato Award, and you're listening to Indy Sports Podcast. And or what is that? Is that what it's called?
That's that's perfect.
Or did I say something wrong?
No, trust me, man. I mean, I can edit all this. It's no problem.
What is it again? Indy Sports Podcast or what?
The Indy Sports Car Podcast.
Indy Sports Cars Podcast.
Nice. Yeah, if you want to try it again, go ahead.
Hi guys, I'm Pato Award, and you're listening to the Indy Sports Car Podcast.
Welcome, ICV fans, to another episode of the Indy Sports Car Podcast. Hey, Mizzy.
Hello.
What's going on, Christian?
Hanging out with you fine folks here in the racing capital of the world, Indianapolis, Indiana.
Yes, sir. And joining us, Mr. Josh Farmer, journalist extraordinaire, Crash.net, Pornhub. You'll see him there as well. How are you, Josh?
Hell of an introduction. I don't know how I can top that, but either way, thanks for having me on.
It's our pleasure, buddy. It is our pleasure. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't know you were writing for Crash.net there, Josh. Is that something new?
Yeah, I started at the beginning of this year.
No, I mean, because we were at Indy together, but I didn't see you.
Yeah, I can blend in.
Well, you're so short, I can understand why I didn't see you. But hey,
I guess that's true.
But remember last year, I think it was you and I, when they did the flyover and the national anthem. I believe you and I were standing next to Will Power's car on the track together.
Don't remember that.
Well, I do. It was a beautiful moment, shared by two chums that apparently one remembers, the other one didn't seem like it was that big of a deal. Apparently, I'm kidding. But that did happen. I'm not joking about the event. That the event did happen. I did, you were there. But
of course.
But hey, Josh, this year it was Missy, me, Christian, and Jared was there with us, and we were standing in the media center, behind the glass, watching the start of the 103rd Indianapolis 500, and it was a pretty cool feeling of the ISCP crew being there and watching that together. You know what I'm saying? It's little things, It's a little thing. Where were you? You were sitting there in the media room somewhere. You could have been standing there with us, but you missed out.
Yeah. What can I say?
No, I'm just bummed I didn't get to see you. That's all. I'm just breaking your chops because I'm a little bit bummed I didn't get to see you there. That's all. But Josh, what was
not the last race of the year though, Frank? He'll be around.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see him at Iowa, I think.
Yep, that's correct.
And but getting back to the 103rd there, Josh, how did you like the race? What was your thoughts?
Thoughts on Indy. Well, been less than a month to digest it, but I mean, in my view, the right guy won. Pagenaud had, I mean, he attacked when he needed to, which is basic SOP for Simon Pagenaud. You know, he'll take care of the car when he needs to, and he'll attack when he needs to. But Alexander Rossi finishing second. I mean, Rossi was a man on a mission, driving through the field, pitching himself nearly into the inside wall, nearly on the grass. And, that's kind of how Rossi's been this year is, he's come up short 3 times in the last 4 races, but he's proving week after week that he's consistently going to be there at the end, which is what it takes to win a championship.
Yeah, and I think I remember being in the minority between Missy and Christian saying that, I mean, almost every single pit stop they had fuel problems. He was held up by Oriol Servia for almost 3 laps straight. There were so many things that happened to Rossi that were very negative. Could have sent him back mid-pack easily, but he ends up second, challenging for the win. And I'm saying that if one of those many things did not happen, he would have been in the lead, and Pagenaud would have been chasing him. Because Pagenaud's race was flawless. Every single pit stop was flawless. I mean, every restart was flawless. He was racing he deserved the win for the way he raced. I'm just saying it's amazing how Rossi was still there with all of with everything stacked against him, I should say. Josh, thoughts?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Rossi's always worth the price of admission, and that's
how much is Rossi worth? Because I'll pay.
Well, I mean, I think the key thing looking through Rossi's stats. I did my recent story today on Crash of looking at him and Newgarden, of how him and Newgarden have been pretty neck and neck this year. I mean, their average finish is only like is only like half a point difference between the two.
Well, Josh, I just gotta stop you. They're really not neck and neck because I believe Newgarden is like 4 inches taller. So
no, I think
more like chin to neck.
Well, what?
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah, I know that was a reach.
Yeah.
Man. Okay, sorry, Josh. Go on.
Oh, go ahead.
No. I mean, I always have to stop somebody for a really bad joke. So go ahead.
Okay. Well, fair enough. I mean, I'm not necessarily one to stop for a bad joke, but I'll let you have your fun.
Hey, that's why we keep asking you on.
Yeah, definitely. So, but
Frank have his spot.
Yeah.
You find bad jokes permissible. you encourage them.
See, look, bad jokes are bad until they're so bad they're good.
No, see, Josh is an enabler. That's what I'm realizing, Frank. He's your enabler.
Yeah, and he just keeps plowing through. You hear him? Like
I need to,
and that's what
to put a stop. Missy's in closest proximity to Frank. I think she should be the one to put a stop to the madness.
I've gotten a lot of smacks to the back of the head since we changed.
Not enough. I say not enough.
Yeah. Yep. So, Missy, thoughts?
On.
Exactly. So, moving on. Yeah. I mean, Josh, I agree with you, man. It was, the right driver won. But what Rossi did to be in second was, I think, the most impressive drive of the entire race.
I mean, if you want to look at his IndyCar career since he came over here in 2006, that was, his moves to get to second, like you said, was almost as exciting as his famous clutch and coast to win in 2006 or 16. I mean.
Yeah, 2016. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we were lucky enough to have him on a week before St. Pete. When he first came over, we had him on the show. So another ISCP. What do you call that? When somebody's
alumni.
There you go. Another ISCP alum, almost about to win his second. Because every time a driver comes on here, they win the 500. It's just that's how it goes. So I mean, Christian's a co-host, so he's a shoo-in once he gets there.
Oh, definitely.
It's a shoo-in. All you gotta do is show up, Christian. I mean, ISCP juice and the car will do the rest.
We'll take over.
You just
Absolutely.
gotta steer, just like every F1 driver right now. Speaking of F1.
Speaking of Formula One.
Formula Uno or Formula Dos. I don't know which one because Vettel keeps changing them around. It's Formula Uno Dos. So, Missy, what did you think about the whole Vettel thing? Did you like him moving the second place to first? Did you agree with the penalty? Do you know anything about it? Do you care?
I know a little bit about it. I don't care about it. F1 has completely lost me, so but I did see the move, but I don't see what choice he really had or where he had to go. So yeah, I don't. I guess I don't agree with the penalty because I didn't see that he really had a choice. It looked like he hit the grass, slid back onto the track, and was still sliding when he, came back on the track as an unsafe, released back onto the track. But I mean, he was sliding, so what could he have really done?
Yeah, it's like, what could you really do?
But then again, I'm sure if it was someone else besides Hamilton right there, he wouldn't have got a penalty.
No. Definitely not.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, for sure. And I did think, though, the comedy value of him moving the second place placard over to Hamilton's car was gold. It was. It reminded me of the tantrums that Nico Rosberg used to throw when he would finish second, and I missed that. That was a large part of why I watched F1 then. So thank you, Vettel, for bringing a little bit of that comedy value back. And the call was completely bogus. Absolutely,
definitely.
Nothing else he could do about that. And, just sucks because I know how much it frustrates Ferrari to finish behind the Silver Arrow. So, and I don't think well, from what Lewis said after the race, he didn't want to win that way anyway. But as a driver too, I understand you don't go back to the stewards and go, hey, you made the wrong call, reverse the call, just take the win. But still, crap call.
Well, Julian Palmer doesn't agree with you.
And yeah, I don't particularly care if he does, but go ahead and enlighten everyone on his comments.
Well, basically, it's real easy to pretty much armchair. What would be the word? Armchair race control. With a slow motion camera from the roll hoop of Vettel that lasts 20 seconds. And, everything that he pointed out, it's just like, are you kidding me, man? Like, how about play this in real speed and tell me all that? And you'll sound like you'll sound ridiculous. That's what you want.
Agree.
I have it right here, by the way, if you care. So here we go. Let's see how this works.
You got gifts, Parker.
Okay, that's loud. Did you guys hear that?
No.
Okay.
No.
Hold on here.
I did, but okay.
All right. Missy heard that, so.
Sounded like you got gifts, Parker.
What?
Nothing.
I might have to share the screen to you guys. So, okay. What am I doing? I don't want to. Let me see if I can do this. I should be able to do this pretty easily. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Alrighty. So, let me see here. All right, can you guys hear this? No, just tell me yes or no. You hear that?
Xfinity home. Disarm the system.
Did any of you guys hear that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Sorry, everybody out there in listening land. Maybe I'll edit that out. Don't hold your breath. All right. So, Julian Palmer's, of course they got to throw an ad in here because it's F1, and why not squeeze as much money out of you as they can with your eyeballs. So I'll try to fast forward through this or just not play it, but sorry, guys. Doing my best. Yeah.
System. Doors open.
Welcome to the neighborhood. Secure your home with X1.
Okay, there. I just turned it down, and
Awesome.
yeah. Okay, here we go. Julian Palmer's analysis.
Round 7, the Canadian Grand Prix. Hamilton wins, but there's one big talking point. Let's not beat about the bush. Let's get straight to it. Lap 48, Vettel across the grass. Hamilton has to back out. First of all, I agree with what the stewards said, the 5-second penalty. I don't always agree with the stewards, but here I believe they got it right. And that is really, there's two factors in it. There's crowding someone off the circuit. The other side of it is the unsafe rejoin of the circuit from Sebastian Vettel. He left the track, he went on the grass, and now the rules state that you've got to rejoin the track safely. So there's two sides of it. The one I believe that Vettel commits is actually crowding Hamilton off the circuit. And when we're on board with Hamilton now, we can see, so Vettel has his slide, and there, he catches it. Now there's still space on the right-hand side. After Vettel's caught the slide, there is space for Hamilton to go.
Okay, time out. There is space to Hamilton. Are you kidding, Missy? Do you see the space here? I don't know, guys, if you're looking at your laptop screen or whatever, do you see the space that I'm looking at? Josh and Christian?
Yeah, Christian, go ahead.
I mean, he saves it, and Vettel is...
Well, if he's got space, then there shouldn't be a penalty because he had space to pass him on the right-hand side there.
Yeah,
so,
but this isn't the end of the clip. Let me play the clip all the way through. Hold on. Here we go.
So Vettel now
right there. Okay, so that's what they penalized him for. That little squeeze right there. That's BS. Hold on. Let me rewind. Okay. So Vettel takes the first chicane, like, wow, it was bad. But hey, he screwed up. So he was all over the place. He's coming into the left-hander. It is a fast left-hander. There's that S turn there at Villeneuve, or however you say that last name. Anybody want to help me with the track name, Missy?
What track were they even at?
In Canada.
Montreal.
Canada Dupree.
Circuit Gilles Villeneuve.
She just said Canada Dupree.
Sounds close enough.
The Canadian Dupree.
I told you, I'm officially done with Formula One. I can't. I just can't.
Well, anyway,
they've lost me.
Look where Hamilton is. He is straddling the chicane.
In your eye, it's called the Formula One Pirelli Grand Prix du Canada. I got the words backwards. So
I asked what track. It's Circuit Jacques Villeneuve. It's Jacques Villeneuve A. Am I close?
Your French needs some work, Frank.
No, it's one language I never work on. The only French I do is with my tongue, son. Ooh. Okay, moving on.
Wow.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, the only French I know is just Jus sans frontières.
Watch your mouth.
What? Games Without Frontiers?
Oh, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a famous Peter Gabriel song.
Oh yeah, well, French fries. How about that?
Freedom fries.
Or how about French toast? Yeah, French fries, French toast to you, sir. That's my rebuttal to your French. Christian, am I close?
No.
I think so.
No.
Missy, what are you looking for?
Nothing.
Oh, okay.
No.
So,
But honestly, though, what does
Vettel,
Mr. Palmer want? What do you want Vettel to do in this situation?
I'd like to ask, why is Hamilton literally straddling the chicane before Vettel goes off in the second chicane? You see where I'm stopped at, right?
I do.
What is Vettel doing? I mean, Hamilton.
Yeah.
What is Hamilton doing?
He's over the curbs and almost in the grass.
I know. He's almost just as bad as Vettel. Just he's still got 2 tires on asphalt, barely. And this is the first turn.
Hamilton now we can see. So Vettel has his slide.
Okay, right there.
Well, I'm not mad at at Hamilton's driving there. I mean, he's using all of the track, which is what you're supposed to do. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, and
what I'm upset though about is what does Mr. Palmer want Vettel to do? You're in the grass. You can't brake.
Christian,
obviously, you're not going to hit the brakes while you're in the grass. You got to stay in the throttle to somehow keep from getting into him. It's ridiculous.
Christian, Mr. Palmer is more than happy to explain to you why he thinks this.
Oh, explain
and
away.
there he catches it. Now there's still space on the right-hand side. After Vettel's caught the slide, there is space for Hamilton to go. So if Vettel now brings the car to the left,
barely,
there is space for them to go side by side. Hamilton's already backed out of the throttle because he's not sure what Vettel's going to do. Now on board with Sebastian Vettel, we get the other perspective then. Turns into the corner and massive oversteer. Massive slide. He's got the 2 cars ahead of him, bit of dirty air, rear tyres overheating. That was always an issue in Canada. The temperature's really hot. So he's lost grip at the rear, he's had a big slide, and he's caught it, but he's across the grass now. Remember, Hamilton is within 7/10 for the lead of the race. So Vettel knows that Hamilton is roughly there. When you're leading the Grand Prix and you've got Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton behind, you're going to be aware of his position. Not at this exact moment, because he's bouncing across the grass, but Vettel will be conscious that Hamilton's about to pounce.
Now, had he hit
so Vettel comes back on the circuit, and
you had a way bigger problem.
Let's pause right there. How you expect Sebastian Vettel to be worrying about where Hamilton is as you're going full speed, all 4 tires through the grass?
Yeah, I guess that's what Mr. Palmer wanted.
Missy, quote, question, thoughts?
British people.
I mean, what was he supposed to do? Hit the brakes and then skid? I mean, that probably would have been even worse if he hit the brakes.
Oh yeah, if you touch the brakes on the grass, it's all over. It's all over for everybody behind you too.
Oh, it might as well be ice, and we all know you don't hit brakes on ice.
Ridiculous.
You know, my dad used to tell me if you're in a slide on ice, you turn the wheel towards the opposite end of the slide. I think, something like that. It was something like that. I don't remember, but you know, I've driven on ice. You know, I forget what I did wrong, but anyway, point being is, Vettel. What else was he supposed to do? And and this is Julian Palmer dissecting this entire thing through slow motion, and that's not fair at all.
I could understand if Vettel was stopped in the grass and then started to go again, but he never stopped. So it was just like an uncontrolled slide from the grass back onto the asphalt, and
he caught
Hamilton
it and he kept on going, right? Yeah. And not for nothing, but Palmer even listen to what Palmer says about the rear view mirror and looking at Vettel's helmet. He went that deep.
Another reasonable oversteer that he has to catch. So he's steering completely right. Now, that is purely to catch the oversteer. That's not to try and crowd Hamilton out the circuit, to be clear. But then he catches that, and he starts turning left. Immediately after he starts turning left, he straightens up. Right as I pause it here, is clearly looking in his mirror to see where Hamilton is. And he doesn't...
Okay, he's clearly... Julian Palmer knows exactly where Vettel's eyes are at this exact, 10th of a second of his life.
It's like watching the Zapruder film.
The Zapruder film, but that was close.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is the Zapruder film there, Josh?
It's the film of JFK getting shot and all the debate of how he moves, as Kevin Costner said in the movie, back and to the left, and whether that's consistent from a shot from the front or the behind. I'm just saying of how Julian is.
You said behind.
And
what?
Say what?
Nothing.
Just keep going, Josh.
Yeah, just keep going.
Yeah. Well, it's just over analyzing every millisecond of everything.
Yeah, the biggest thing with this Bruder film is it's a 61, 62?
63.
63. 1963 video camera handheld with a crank wheel. I mean, of course there's going to be gaps. And that's what I mean. Here's to slowing down a film that was made back how many years? And yes, exactly, good point. And that's probably the worst film to do that with, because the film quality couldn't be any worse. So and they're all like, well, look, I mean, he was dead center on the. Well, what else were you going to videotape down in Texas? A tumbleweed? I mean, there's the president. Of course, you're going to be videotaping the president. I'd rather. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so Palmer saying that his head slightly tilted towards the right and looked into the rearview mirror. I don't know how he can tell that. Look at his arrow. It's not even following the direction of his helmet. His helmet is more or less pointing right at the wheel, not the... You see how crazy that is? Palmer's out of his mind.
On the back of that, try and steer more left to give his rival any room either. He still keeps the wheel pretty much straight and carries on crowding Hamilton out of room.
Probably
for me,
yeah.
He's not completely out of...
Right there, that was Vettel holding his pearls going, wow, I can't believe I saved that. He wasn't worried about Hamilton. He was like, well, I didn't crash. Crazy.
Yeah, it was a heck of a save. Yeah. It was a heck of a save.
I mean, this is great analysis coming from does he drive anymore? No, right?
Nope.
Yeah. So, your credibilities, you, sir, are out of line. And you're either sucking up to the FIA because they got something on you, or you're just an idiot. I'm not sure which one it is. I'm going to lean towards the latter. How about you guys?
I don't know how anybody could see that penalty as anything other than bias toward Lewis Hamilton, preference toward Lewis Hamilton, which I get it. He drives a lot of money into the sport. It's better for him to win. I get it. However, I think we can all agree that had it been any other driver, there wouldn't have been a penalty. And that what the heck do you want Vettel to do? Crash the field? Is that what you want?
If he would have crashed into Hamilton and took him out, would there have been a penalty? Or would it have just been a racing incident?
No, they'd have probably called it something. Yeah, avoidable contact, and yeah, or some ridiculousness. But bad call.
And somebody's on fire at the end here. Hold on, what is this?
Move from, he's already in the points.
Palmer's on fire.
Up to ninth on Carlos Sainz, who's desperately trying to hang on some pretty shod tyres because he pitted so early. And Stroll this time just sends it on the outside again. The Racing Point is a really quick car on the straights. The McLaren is not the quickest on the straights. Stroll with the closing speed on the outside, just still had to make it through on the brakes.
That was the only thing he got right in this entire 14-minute long diatribe of just, a word vomit I've ever heard. The McLaren is not fast in the straight. You got that right.
As well, you can see he's really fighting the car as he gets through to that first apex. And through he goes, 9th place. Tricky start to the year for Lance Stroll, but some good home points.
Who cares about Lance Stroll? All right, I'm done. Julian, I don't know who you're trying to suck up to, but I don't want to hear it anymore. Do you guys? I mean, do you agree with this big-nosed guy needs to shave? Maybe he's just, maybe he's having a bad time of things. Who knows? You never know. But he needs to shave. How about go shave first before you start throwing shade at other people? Mm-hmm. So I say. He has no credibility anyway. What have you ever done, sir, in F1? Huh? Mr. Palmer? So I say. Christian, is there anything memorable that you can remember that this guy's ever done in F1? I'm coming up.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Missy, anything memorable that Julian Palmer ever did in F1?
No, crashed with his teammate a lot.
Yes, he did. Josh, anything memorable that this guy's even got any credibility to judge anybody? Like I don't know, a 4-time world champion, like Sebastian Vettel. I don't know.
No, I can't. I'm gonna join the choir on this one.
Yep. What was the best car he ever drove? It was a Force India, wasn't it?
No, he drove for Renault, and he tested for the Lotus F1 team.
So this is the guy who Ricardo's took his seat, right?
Yeah, the last time Palmer ran an F1 race was 2017. Yeah, he didn't even last the whole season that year.
No, who took over for him and his big nose?
I don't recall.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure what the man's nose has to do with anything, but
and it's slightly to it's low and it's to the left.
Frank,
you are right, Josh. This is a lot like the Zapruder film. His nose is to the left a bit.
Frank, it's got nothing to do with.
His nostril is slightly higher than the right one. You guys,
Frank, that's the way God made him. There's nothing he can do about it, and it's got nothing to do with.
It destroys his credibility. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my goodness! It destroys his credibility. Wow.
His nose destroys his credibility. That's a new one.
Wow. No, I think that the bogus opinion is what destroys his credibility. But
destroys your credibility.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
That's what'll do it. It's that bogus opinion.
Yep, you're absolutely right. I agree. Bogus opinion.
But it's his opinion, and it's his right to say it. No matter how bogus we all think it is. There's just nothing Vettel could have done. He did exactly what he was supposed to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll say it. I heard a good phrase at one point of, "You're entitled to your own opinion, but you're not entitled to your own facts."
I like that.
There you go.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
I'm gonna steal that.
Yeah, go right ahead. I stole it from somebody. Don't remember who.
Nice.
There you go. Nice. So, Missy, do you want to give us the rest of the order?
Yes, so
down there in Canada, so we can move on.
The Canadian Grand Prix.
Canadian Grand Prix.
Yep, the Grand Prix at Circuit Villeneuve away.
Well, sorry, that was me yawning.
F1 will do that to you.
Yeah, it's been
I
known
told you,
to.
they've lost me. They've completely lost me. So Lewis Hamilton was given first place here, followed by Sebastian Vettel and Charles Leclerc was your top three, your podium. And then you had Valtteri Bottas, Max Verstappen, Daniel Ricciardo, Nico Hülkenberg, Pierre Gasly, Lance Stroll, Daniel Kvyat, Carlos Sainz, Sergio Perez, Antonio Giovinazzi, Romain Grosjean, Kimi Räikkönen, George Russell, Kevin Magnussen, Robert Kubica, Alexander Albon, Lando Norris. What was your finishing order?
What happened to Lando Norris?
DNF. I don't know.
He DNF. You don't know.
I told you. I didn't watch anything. F1 has lost me.
They lost you in the fog, huh?
She means it.
I mean it. I can't even fast forward the races, just to see what's happening. Cause I'm done.
Yeah, it's just the same thing every week.
When they get competitive racing again, they can hit me up.
This is exactly my point about the whole, IndyCar's still spec racing. I won't come back until they're not spec racing anymore. It's like, well, go over to F1. They're not spec racing, and this is what you'll get for not spec racing. So enjoy, really. Go right ahead, have fun. So if you want spec racing in IndyCar, just pop on over to F1 to see the end result of that. And Jay Fry and Mark Miles are doing a pretty good job, making the series, more and more relevant as the races and time and seasons go on. That it's amazing how they're not copying from F1 at all. You think they would, but they're not.
Yeah.
There's a good reason.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always been seen as, or it's always been said that F1 is high class, but I follow it. I kind of file it into the category of, something's been true because people have said it's always true.
Yeah.
But then again, defining what's good racing, it's, racing's a moving target, and most of the time you want to hit the bullseye, but a lot of times you'll end up just collecting points around the dartboard. So
I like that. That's a good one.
Yeah. Well, like I said the last time on the show, they don't keep me here because I'm gorgeous and 5'10".
Yes, we do.
Well, I'm glad somebody does.
But yeah,
well, hopefully this weekend in France will be better for everybody.
Yeah,
we shall see.
Doubt it.
What's that, Missy?
I said I highly doubt it.
You highly doubt it. So, what's the TV schedule for the F1 race for this weekend, Miss?
Don't know. Don't care.
She doesn't care. Okay. If you guys care, you can go to where, Missy, and find out.
I didn't even put it on our website. So
don't even bother.
Nope, don't bother.
Go to www.f1.com.
That's how much they've lost me. I did not bother putting their TV schedule on our website.
Yeah, they have lost that privilege.
That's too much work that I'm not doing.
Well,
done. They lost me.
There you go.
You do enough work already. You don't need to add any more.
That's right.
Okay, so we need to talk about Texas. What happened in Texas, and then let's see. We didn't do a show last week because it's Father's Day and everything. So figure, dads should be enjoying the day, not listening to podcasts, and hanging out with the family. The dad. It's not a holiday for everybody because I'm personally not a dad. Christian, I'm pretty sure. There might be a few Rugrats running around there that you don't know about, but hey,
no.
I'm kidding.
I've got a cat.
Oh, well, there you go.
And that's about it.
Yep.
That's about it for me.
Josh, how many how many kids you got running around, man?
Can't say that I have any.
That you know of, or
can't say that I have any.
Nice. But to all the dads out there from the ISCP crew, we say Happy Father's Day. And
yes, Happy Father's Day, everybody.
Hope you had a great Father's Day. But last week's Texas race, best Texas race in history. I wouldn't go that far, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was. Like I said before, racing's a moving target, and this race had plenty of drama in it.
It really did. It almost went it was like 122, 21 laps green.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Before who? What was the first caution? Was that Herta?
No, that was the first. The first yellow was Zach Beach losing it in traffic.
Hold on a second. What was that, Missy?
It was 135 laps of green before the first caution.
Okay, so 135 laps of green before Zach Beach's first caution. Okay.
Turn 3.
Is that when Santino Ferrucci went all the way down to the grass?
I think he got the races mixed up. That was I think that was at Indy.
I am. I totally am. All right, my bad. Yeah. So. Yeah, we haven't done a show in 2 weeks.
No, it was just Zach Beach by himself in turn 3, and then
Well, first off, what was the finishing order? We'll just do that real quick.
Finishing order was Joseph Newgarden was your race winner, followed by Alexander Rossi and Graham Rahal was your podium. Then you had Santino Ferrucci, the Rook, making his presence felt in another oval, followed by Ryan Hunter-Ray, Simon Pagano, Marcus Ericsson, Sebastian Bourdais, Will Power, and Marco Andretti were your top 10. Then you had Connor Daly, Felix Rosenquist, Ed Carpenter, Spencer Piggott, Takuma Sato, Tony Kanaan, Scott Dixon, Colton Herta, James Hinchcliffe, Zach Beach, Charlie Kimball, and Matthias Lace was your finishing order.
All right.
Right on.
So new, back to the points lead. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Newgarden this year, he's proven that he can win in any circumstance, and I think he's starting to solidify his position as an elite driver in the series, and probably is probably in the running for being the top dog at Team Penske right now.
Mm-hmm. I can get behind that. But in saying that, I don't want to take away the mastery of Cindric for making the call. That's what got him out there. It wasn't strictly Joseph and his ability on this one. This was team strategy right here, and it just goes to prove invaluable who's up there on the box calling the shots for you.
Yeah, definitely.
So great team effort for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the thread at Penske. The guys on the spotter stand telling Pagano what to do to take away that inside from Rossi during the 500. Then we see Cindric making this call here. The team synergy around these drivers and who they're working with to get them these wins. I think it's absolutely fantastic, and you just don't see it with the other teams.
Yeah, because saying like Newgarden's like the class of Penske. It's like, well, Pagano just won the 500 and the GP.
He won the whole month of May.
Yeah, but then you got Will Power, who is always there to win something and be there at the end for a championship. Maybe you never know.
That's Frank's unbiased opinion.
Well, I'm just saying.
I'm kidding with you.
No, it's fact. It's not an unbiased opinion. It's fact. It's, you look it up. Look it up.
No, man. But no, I just love the team effort and the way it's working out. It's working out. Other teams from what they're doing.
Yeah, was this the race where no. Was this the race where it was like there was a lot of, pit stop follies, or was that Indy?
No, that was Indy. Okay. But there was a pit stop folly here with Sato, and
I was gonna say,
it's
Sato something that was Sato. Yeah,
it's just a bad year to be a crew member, really.
Yeah, he has a crew member.
Dudes are getting hit left and right. God bless all the crew members of IndyCar. Please keep them safe, because I don't know what's up with this year, but it just seems that they're always in the line of fire more so than usual.
Yeah, but thankfully the crew member that he hit, he actually recovered and went back to finish servicing the car.
Yeah. No, it's
so he wasn't that hurt,
grip.
And that's the good part about that.
But yeah, it's I don't know what IndyCar to prevent that. It's is this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess the only tweak that they could possibly make is don't have the crew members go over the wall until the car comes to a complete stop. But it's like with anything is that you do that, it's gonna it's gonna make the pit stop slower, and then people start bitching about that, and it's never gonna be a perfect foolproof system. It's like meteorology.
Well, this is my thought. Like, how about making the fueling a bit slower? Instead of it being like 7 seconds, make it like 9. Because I've heard a few different.
But what's that going to do about somebody sliding into their box incorrectly?
I have no idea. But
it's not going to stop you from getting hit. It's just going to make the
no. But they're talking about lowering the pit speed, and they're already at 60 miles an hour. I mean, how much slower do you want them to go? It's either that or I don't know. They have to do something to slow up. Because we're talking about high 6s, low 7s, pit stops, and you got cars coming in and leaving pretty quickly. So.
It's I get that, but the amount of incidents, this is way too often these last few races, I think, for anybody to be comfortable with.
I say, and let's not start getting. I think it was after the whole, coin 1, 2, 3 takeout at Indy a few years back. I think it was with Davidson, Pippen, Tristan.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, they started going nuts with all the triangles and everything in the boxes. Remember that? Where like you couldn't have a pit crew guy within this little triangle here, and the car had to enter through this box or something. It was so confusing. I don't know if you remember that or not. It was a while ago. You guys remember that?
Yeah, I remember the incident, but I don't remember all the different triangles. I thought they had put the triangles in when Dixon hit Will Power's crew guy at Sonoma in 2013.
Oh, that's what started that whole thing off. You're right. No, you're right. It was that. Yeah, because the Baltimore GP was still a thing.
Yeah.
Because like right after that, Baltimore GP, Dixon and Will right next to each other. It was kind of like, was that planned? But yeah, they kind of went a little bit too crazy with the whole, like they draw a box, then make like a triangle out of the corners of the box. It was just really ridiculous. And then they were penalizing cars for the tire barely touching the triangle. I don't know.
Yeah.
So something's got to give. What is it, like too many people over the wall? I don't know, Missy. If they asked you how do we fix this, what would your idea be?
I guess essentially the only way to fix it is nobody over the wall until the car comes to a complete stop. But the way Sato came in, he was hitting anybody that was within an inch of the wall. So
it was almost like he thought the next box was his.
Yeah, I think that's what he said. He thought.
Did he? Oh, okay. I didn't see the interview.
It was something like he thought.
I'm just looking at the video of him. It looked like he thought the next box was his. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. He said something like that. Like, he definitely did not think that the box that was his at the time. That's for sure. That much I can.
Isn't that something you take note of though in practice, where your pit box is and the little number that's going up and down? That's the number that matches your car. Like 30. Here I am. Here's my little arm.
People look here. They look like my team. Oh yeah, right.
Oh, they're waving at me with the little 30. That's what do you know? That number's on my car too.
Yeah. So maybe just a lapse of judgment then on Sato's part, perhaps.
Yeah, it's just like, Takuma, what did you do? What did you do?
Yeah.
let's see.
But other than that, though.
And then, of course, the nice Scott Dixon and Colton Herta incident.
Yeah, so Colton Herta this year has finished 4 races, 2 of them in Detroit. So he's finished at 3 events.
Right.
He's DNF'd at every single other event.
You know,
sometimes getting a victory isn't all that, I guess, great. Because after he won, it's been downhill from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's just kind of a welcome to IndyCar.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just I think it's going to be a maturing process, knowing when to send it and when not to. You know, I know we don't mention that other series on the show, but it almost reminds me a little bit of when Kyle Busch was driving for Hendrick, and he was wrecking the car like every week, and he ended up losing the ride. But when he went over to Gibbs, he got more mature, started winning races, buckled down, and got himself a championship. So I think maybe it's just a maturity thing.
That is that's a great storyline. That, you know, the writers should be proud of themselves. I mean, look how bad this POS was, but hey, he came back and, you know, not only did he do much better, he won the championship. Oh my goodness. The drama of it all was just tangible.
No, but I do think there are some similar elements in that. Herta's just got to get that maturity down, knowing when to send it and when not to. Clearly, that was not the time to send it.
Yeah, he should not have licked the stamp there.
No, don't lick that stamp.
Definitely not.
That'll find you without a ride next year, wrecking all the equipment.
Yeah, definitely so. So how much money is Herta into Harding now? Like 55.
4 kidneys on the black market.
About 45 mil by now. Give or take 10 mil. Who knows? I don't know how bad he screwed up the cars. I mean, it's not like he has crashed, but a lot of just mechanical issues too. You know, Barber was a mechanical issue, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I believe. Was there another mechanical issue, or were they all crashes?
The Indy was a mechanical issue.
Okay. And then the rest were, I believe, were crashes, right?
The Long Beach was a crash, and the Indy GP was a crash.
Yeah, and Texas was a crash.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, starting to see a pattern here.
It's an interesting position to be in, following the win. Obviously, you win an event, people want to see you succeed. They want to see you back in the car, but you gotta capitalize on it so that you keep the ride. And wrecking the equipment is definitely not the way to do that. You know, the team would obviously have you rather have you finish further back, but be able to roll the car back onto the trailer, just the way it is, than to go home with a huge bill and a DNF. You know, so it's.
Well, hey, I have.
I'll give him that. If we did have to say a positive takeaway from that, nobody can ever accuse Colton Herta of not having the stones to make a decision.
Okay, he does make decisions. I'll give him that.
The backs were snapping in the making.
Well, let's see. Up here on NTT data. Sorry, the NTT Data IndyCar Series. Got 8 awesome onboards from Texas. And that's just onboards. Here we go. Team radio from Alexander Rossi's Wild Save at Texas. Here we go.
Get to the bottom. Oh, clear. Clear, you're clear. Hustle. Yellow, yellow.
Now, I wonder if
That was an awesome save.
it really was.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if somebody, like a rookie of some sort, should be studying this video. I don't wonder. Any rookie. It doesn't have to be just one. But boy, do their cars look identical. Just saying.
Get to the bottom. Oh, clear.
Wow, that was close. That was so close. And then it was so close, and then he just saved.
Clear, clear, clear. Clear, you're clear.
That was some crossing up of the hands, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That's good stuff right there. So definitely best save Alexander Rossi of the night.
Definitely.
Hands down.
Definitely. Gets my vote. Gets my vote.
So, all right, well, let's give Texas a grade there. Missy, grade, Texas?
I'll give it a B+.
B+, really?
Yeah.
You know what, that's not bad, actually. B+ is okay. Josh?
I'd give it a B+ as well.
Is that because Missy's just good looking and you're going to follow what she says?
No, I'm giving it a B+ because I mean what I say.
I like it. Way to own it. Like it. Fair enough. Christian?
Not to jump on the bandwagon, but I also say B+.
So you and Josh are both agreeing with the hot chick?
That's correct.
I will too. It was a B+. Yep. Yep. Definitely agreeing with the hot chick, along with you guys. B+, because I like sleeping in the bed. And I don't feel like sleeping on the couch tonight.
There you go. There you go.
All right, so now I want to talk real quick about a lot of rumors going around perpetrated by Racer Magazine. I'm not destroying Racer Magazine for this. I'm not starting anything with Racer Magazine or who they employ or whatever. I'm not. The truth of it is, Motorsport.com hasn't said diddly spit about, a joint venture with NASCAR at a track because we really need one. We don't. And it all hinges on if Pocono does not re-sign their contract to continue IndyCar racing there. Now, apparently, people forgot that. Right, got it. People forget that 3 years ago, when their contract was up for re-signing, they didn't re-sign the contract until the weekend of the race weekend, right? I just seem to remember this. I don't know why that stuck, but it did, and I confirmed it. So there's really no reason to get, really into any conversation about Pocono not becoming or not staying a race on the schedule for next season, because, if they waited till race weekend 3 years ago, what makes anybody think that won't happen again this year? Because apparently that's how Pocono likes to, negotiate. I guess. I'm just saying.
That's a fair assessment.
So all this talk about, if we're going to lose Pocono, then we're going to have to do a double header with, in NASCAR someplace else, so we keep an oval. But even though Mark Miles has literally stated that he's talked to Richmond and, he's stopped talking to Richmond because he doesn't know what's going to happen with Pocono. But if we do lose Pocono and they don't re-sign, Richmond's really waiting to be... I think Richmond will take over if that happens. However, Miles was also stated as saying that he has in no way have any ambitions on adding any other events to the schedule that involves a track in the U.S. Only tracks abroad. So why this conversation of a double header weekend thing? I don't understand where it came from. It doesn't need to be talked about. it doesn't even need to be a thing, because I don't see where it needs. I don't know how it started. I don't know where it came from. I don't even know why it needs to be a topic of conversation, but it is. So I just wanted to address it, that there's no reason to talk about it or even, care. Because
Just throwing it out there, our poll that we did, the 46% said yes, they definitely want to see an IndyCar NASCAR doubleheader race. Just throwing that out there.
So that means what? 65% said no.
No, 30% said no, and 24% said maybe.
Okay. Well, I mean, we all know that a lot of NASCAR fans are coming over to Indy now, because they used to be IndyCar fans that went to NASCAR when they split. So, but that's starting to, even itself back out again. So I can understand that, So, alrighty. All right. So, all right. So, coming up is
Road America.
Road America. Right on.
No Car Lake, Wisconsin.
Right on.
Wisconsin. Yeah. Wisconsin.
Yeah. Sorry for bringing any of that up. I just wanted to clear up what Mark Miles had said, and that's why I don't think we need to worry about Pocono going anywhere. Just a real quick a yes or no for Pocono staying for the next season and beyond. Missy?
I would like it to, because it's the closest track to us here in the Northeast. However, its history doesn't bode well.
True enough, but history aside, you want it to stay there?
I would like it to stay, yes.
Okay, fair enough. Josh?
I'd like to see it stay. It's the only other 500-mile race on the calendar, and lest we forget, the track was designed with open wheel cars in mind.
Fair enough. I mean, that's my argument right there. All three corners are, modeled after Indy, and it was built for Indy. So there you go. Good point. Fair point. It would be my point, but I want to hear what Christian's point is.
Well, this will be my final point of the night. I do have to run, but I say yes. We keep Pocono. That you don't find a track that unique just anywhere. It's the only one in America like it. So just for the sense of the uniqueness, I believe it should stay.
I agree with you 100%. And Christian, where can they find that great piece of literature of yours before you got to go? I know we ran a little bit late tonight, so I apologize for that.
That's all right. My life and story, The Outside Groove, forwarded by the legendary Willie T. Ribbs, can be found on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, Walmart.com, Books A Million, Koho, the Indy Sports Car Podcast.com, and
other fine retailers.
Thank you, Missy.
There it is.
That's right. And please also look forward to Faster and Faster, a children's guide to motorsport, forwarded by the very talented Robbie Unser, a good buddy of mine. So very, very excited to have that book release here pretty soon. So, all right. And good talking to you guys, though. I got a jet, but I will see you all next week. And enjoy Road America for me.
We sure will, buddy.
All right. Guys. All right. See you.
And there he goes. The man, the myth, the legend. Christian Alexio. Still can't say his last name right, but it's only been 3 years. If I'm not gonna get it right now, I never will. But Josh, where can they find all of your stuff at, man?
Find it at crass.net.
Right on. Easy enough, right?
Yeah, simple's the best way.
There you go. I mean, do you have a Twitter that you want to plug as well?
Yeah, my Twitter is jfarmer7710.
Right on. And that'll definitely be in the show notes there. So definitely check Josh out and follow all of his awesome journalism stuff that journalists do with their computers. I'm kidding. And Missy, again, where can they find all the good stuff I play? Missy?
That would be www.theindysportscarpodcast.com.
I literally called Missy Buddy. It was weird. But all right, and the race coming up, Road America. Not much to talk about. I mean, personally, my favorite track of all time, really, Road America. It's just a beautiful track. I think, it's got so many great attributes to it: fast straightaways, tight turns, a lot of great, passing opportunities throughout the track. It's not just like one of those parade type of tracks, like I don't know, Sonoma comes to mind. But so let's just quick, Missy, poll and first place podium. Go. Who are you feeling?
Pole goes to Alexander Rossi.
So Alexander Rossi for the pole?
Yeah, sure. And the win goes to Joseph Newgarden.
Who?
Joseph Newgarden.
Jay New. Well, he's not really new. Jay Old but New Garden. Oh, God. My jokes are bad. They're not even funny bad. They're just really bad.
Yeah, they're like Robin on How I Met Your Mother. All the bad puns.
I agree. Never seen it. But it's okay. Pole and podium there, Josh.
Pole, it's going to be Newgarden, and for the win, I'm going to go out on a limb and say Dixon for the win.
Ooh. And Dixon's had some bad luck at this track.
He won in 2017, and we're kind of at that point in the year when Dixon always gets into full attack mode, and he's in need of being in full attack mode after dropping out of Detroit Race 1 in Texas. So,
yeah, what happened in Texas? Why
did he got taken out with Herta?
Oh, that's right. I don't remember. Okay. Ain't I a stinker? All right. And I don't know. My pole podium. Willpower for the pole and win. So right. And one more question I have for you guys. The Ferrucci love, is it deserved? Is everybody liking it? Have people forgotten about Ferrucci and everything else? You think it's time to forgive, forget, and move on and enjoy just basically the really great racing that the man's been doing on the ovals? Missy, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's time to forgive and forget. He's come a long way. He's matured since his little, whatever you want to call it.
It was,
little incident.
And I think if the F1 brass hadn't said so much horrible things about American drivers at that time when he did that, nobody'd ever know it. It just happened at like the worst time possible. And I think that's why everybody knows about it.
Yeah, I think it's time to forgive and forget. He's looking very impressive, and he's very, he looks very mature right now driving. So, he's leading the rookies in points. So.
In a Dale Coyne car, no less.
Yeah.
So there you go. Josh, what do you think? You agree? You disagree?
I mean, he's certainly. I mean, the one stat that's impressed me about him is that he's completed all but 2 laps this year, and no other driver, not even any of the championship contenders, can say that. And he really hasn't put a wheel wrong in an IndyCar. So, I mean, the only person that knows for sure of whether or not he's moved on from the incident that happened a year ago is him.
I think
so. And winning. I mean, let's face it. Winning in good runs can change anything, right?
Of course, yeah. I mean, it's just like with Mike Vick coming to Philly here. We all hated it until he threw that first touchdown. And we all forgave and forgot. It's the same type of thing, I guess. Well, not really, because he didn't do anything that bad, but same type of thing, I think, as far as sports goes. Sports fans have a short memory, and drivers have an even shorter memory. They have to. So, good point. And I'm going to agree with you guys. And, I think he's taken enough guff over the last year, and his maturity's really impressed me. So, yeah, definitely. Right on. So, anybody going to Road America, definitely hit us up on Twitter. Shoot us a DM. We'd love to say hi to you. Looking forward to seeing the Davis family there. It's their home track, And really happy to hear that Aaron Telitz will be racing for Velarde in Indy Lights there as well. So, good on you, Aaron. And but the biggest, I think the biggest name in Indy Lights right now is Oliver Askew. Everybody, I think he's going to win the championship. I don't know, Josh, cut me off, or Missy, if you want to add to any of that.
Askew is really showing the chops of being the next big American IndyCar driver. I mean, we're kind of at a point like in IndyCar that we're seeing the emergence of Newgarden and Rossi as the top Americans in the series, and then you've got guys like Marco and Graham Rahal that are kind of the seasoned veterans, and Ryan Hunter-Reay still has some fire burning in him. But I mean, if Askew can win this championship, I mean, he's, depending on how quickly he can adapt to an IndyCar, he's going to give them a run for their money.
Yeah, that's definitely a good way of looking at it. Definitely. Missy, you want to add anything to that?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Right on. Josh, was there any storyline that we haven't touched on that you wanted to touch on before we say goodbye to everybody? Unless we're going to see you down at or up in Road America.
No, I think we covered everything. Let me back up. Pato Award's going to be back for Carlin. I know that his situation's up in the air, so we've all seen the talent that Pato has exhibited in just his few IndyCar starts, and when he drove in IMSA and in Indy Lights and in Indy Pro 2000. Yep. So it's good to see him still kicking, and even with it's just good to see Pato still kicking after what's been a lot chaotic. Basically, since he finished in the top 10 at Sonoma a year ago in his IndyCar debut, it's been almost chaotic. But he's been able to keep his head up and still be level-headed.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, I think the team has kept them back a little bit, but the team has kept a lot of drivers back a little bit throughout this season, I think. I mean, it was kind of hard to tell with the other two, but hey, but yeah, because this is a road course, so this was on the contract that Pato signed at the beginning of the year, and there's really no reason to suspect that we shouldn't see him, fulfill that contract. The whole Red Bull thing is still, I don't get it, and I don't think many people do, but I don't really know what that was all about, to be honest. But he will be there, so it's good to see that Pato is going to be behind the wheel of an IndyCar at Road America, and really happy to see that, because Pato's been a long time guest on the show, and we've been pulling for him for a while, so definitely. So thanks for adding that there, Josh, at the end, really.
Oh, anytime.
I mean, just for that, I think we'll put the Pato sounder in the beginning of the show. Introduce everybody. So there you go. It's always one of my favorite sounders. So, and right on. So, Missy, is there anything else that you wanted to touch on before we head out to Road America?
No.
Okay, Missy, you killed it this show. I just want to say.
Yep.
You were on top of everything. Do you have the TV schedule real quick for everybody?
Sure, they're on TV on Sunday, June 23rd at 12 o'clock on NBC.
12 Eastern?
Yeah, 12 Eastern.
Right on.
Everything else is on NBC Gold.
And if you don't have NBC Gold, I don't know what you're waiting for. Josh, do you have NBC Gold?
Absolutely.
Is it not worth the first 20 minutes of using it, like every dime you spent?
Yeah, it's well worth the investment. I mean, you're getting a quality product, and what more can you ask?
Honestly, I mean, we are getting, professionally produced practices. Where else could you get that? We're getting Paul Tracy and Lee Diffie and all during a practice. It's awesome. So definitely, they're not giving us any money to sponsor them. We just think it's a great product, and everybody, if you are an IndyCar fan, definitely show support for IndyCar and get NBC Gold. You will not regret it. Especially when you're at the track, it comes in really handy then. So, right on. I guess Missy. Okay. So yeah, and everything is yep. So I can't think of anything else we need to go over, Miss. So I think on that note.
So on that note, that I know that everyone, including Frank, Christian, and Josh, everyone knows Road America is this weekend.
This is the Racecast weather forecast for the NTT IndyCar Series Rev Group Grand Prix at Road America. We'll start off the day on Friday with mostly clear skies, but clouds will be on the increase throughout the day. We'll stay dry through most of the day with only a very small risk of a stray shower after 6 p.m. Afternoon highs will be close to 69 degrees. Winds will be out of the east at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday will have more clouds than sun throughout the day, along with a chance of a few scattered showers and thunderstorms. Rain chances will start off around 50% in the morning, but will actually drop to around 40% for the afternoon and early evening hours. Afternoon highs will be around 67 degrees. Winds will be out of the southwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour, with a brief gust or two reaching 25 miles per hour. Sunday will be a mainly cloudy day with a chance of a few scattered showers and thunderstorms. We'll stay around a 40% chance of rain throughout the day, but the latest model data shows that the activity may hold off until the mid to late afternoon hours. The afternoon high will be around 74 degrees. This has been your Racecast weather forecast for this week. You can find our updates on Twitter and Facebook at RacecastWX, on Instagram at RacecastWeather, or find us on the web at racecastweather.com. Thank you so much. Have a great week.